Welcome back to the channel Coins Collector, everyone. Today, we've got a fascinating and potentially life-changing topic for all you coin collectors, treasure hunters, and anyone who's ever had a penny in their pocket without realizing it might be worth thousands of dollars. That's right, we're diving into one of the most intriguing stories in modern American numismatics, the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1993 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a penny that looks like your everyday copper-plated coin but has been known to fetch as much as $137,000 due to a series of remarkable mint errors and anomalies. If you're sitting on a jar of old coins, or even just have a few forgotten pennies lying around, you'll want to pay close attention because this story might just change the way you look at the smallest denomination in your change jar. Now, the Lincoln cent has been part of American currency since 1909. It was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and has since become one of the most collected coins in the world. Over the years, there have been many changes to the penny, from the original wheat ears reverse, to the memorial design in 1959, and later to the Union Shield in 2010. But what's consistent is that these coins are mass-produced in the billions every year, with most ending up in our change or coin jars without a second thought. That's what makes the story of the 1993 penny so captivating. Among these billions of coins, one or two examples stand out as extraordinary, fetching unbelievable prices at auction due to errors and minting anomalies that most people would overlook. The 1993 penny, in its normal state, is just a copper-plated zinc coin. Weighing in at 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters, and a smooth edge, it's practically indistinguishable from other pennies minted in the same era. The D mint mark below the date tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's major production facilities. In 1993, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins. So how is it possible that one of these coins could end up being worth $137,000? It all comes down to a very specific combination of errors, some of which are nearly impossible to detect unless you know exactly what to look for. Let's start with the concept of mint errors. When we talk about errors in coin collecting, we're referring to mistakes that occur during the production process at the mint. These can range from relatively common errors like off-center strikes and die cracks to much rarer anomalies like double dies, wrong planchets, or transitional errors. The value of an error coin is largely determined by the rarity and uniqueness of the error, how noticeable it is, and how well the coin has been preserved. Some errors can be so subtle that even experienced collectors might miss them without a microscope. Others are so dramatic that they're immediately recognizable. The 1993 penny in question is believed to have multiple overlapping errors that make it not just rare, but practically one-of-a-kind. One of the major contributing factors to its incredible value is the possibility that the coin was struck on the wrong planchet. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that gets stamped with the coin's design during the minting process. Normally, Lincoln cents from this era are struck on copper-plated zinc planchets. But on rare occasions, a planchet intended for another denomination or even a foreign coin can get mixed in with the penny blanks. When this happens, the result is a coin that might be slightly lighter or heavier than usual, a different color, or have other physical characteristics that distinguish it from a standard penny. In the case of the $137,000 1993 cent, there is strong speculation among collectors and experts that it may have been struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, possibly a dime or even a foreign coin, but that's just the beginning. There's also compelling evidence that this coin may have been struck using a mismatched die pair. Dies are the metal stamps that press the design into the coin. Each coin has two dies, one for the obverse, front, and one for the reverse, back. In rare cases, a die intended for a different coin can be mistakenly paired with the wrong planchet or opposite die, resulting in a mule error. Mule coins are among the rarest and most valuable types of error coins in existence. They represent a serious breakdown in the minting process, and when they do occur, they're often quickly caught and destroyed. But every so often, one escapes detection and ends up in circulation. If the 1993 penny was indeed a mule, featuring mismatched dies or struck on the wrong planchet, it would immediately explain its astronomical value. Another error that may be present in the high-value 1993 penny is a double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has a misalignment during its creation, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. These are highly sought after by collectors, especially when the doubling is dramatic and visible to the naked eye. The most famous example of this type of error is the 1955 double die penny, which can sell for thousands of dollars. There have also been well-known double die errors in the 1969 cents and 1972 cents. If the 1993 example features a similar kind of doubling, particularly on the date, motto, or Lincoln's profile, it would significantly increase its value. There's also speculation that the coin may feature a rare repunched mint mark. Prior to the year 1990, mint marks were punched into the working dies by hand, which led to inconsistencies and, in some cases, visible doubling of the mint mark itself. Although by 1993 the mint mark was included as part of the master die, and thus less prone to variation, there have been exceptions where coins appear to show a repunched or misplaced mint mark. If the 1993 penny in question features a mint mark that is misaligned, doubled, or otherwise abnormal, it could be another crucial clue to its immense value. And then there's the issue of condition. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining the value of any coin, but especially for rare error coins. A coin in mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of circulation wear, will always be worth more than the same coin in a circulated state. For error coins, this is even more true, because the clarity of the error often depends on how well the coin has been preserved. The $137,000 1993 penny is believed to be in exceptional condition, possibly graded MS67 or higher by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC. That kind of condition, combined with the presence of multiple minting errors, creates a perfect storm of rarity and desirability among collectors. There's also the factor of provenance. Sometimes, a coin gains additional value because of its history, who found it, where it was discovered, or how it came to public attention. While most details of the $137,000 1993 penny's discovery have remained private, the fact that it has been authenticated and sold at a major auction house gives it an aura of legitimacy and intrigue that adds to its appeal. Auction results play a big role in establishing market value, and when a coin like this sells for six figures, it sends shockwaves through the collecting community, leading to increased demand and interest in similar coins. Let's also talk about the psychology behind collecting and why a coin like this captures the imagination. Coins are more than just money, they're artifacts of history, tiny time capsules that reflect the era in which they were made. When a coin breaks the mold, either literally or figuratively, it becomes something special. Collectors are drawn to the idea of finding treasure in the mundane, of uncovering value where others see only common change. The idea that you could stumble upon a penny worth over $100,000 is thrilling. It taps into the universal appeal of hidden treasure, the dream that something forgotten or overlooked might actually be worth a fortune, and make no mistake, these discoveries do happen. Stories emerge every few years of rare coins being found in pocket change, coin rolls, or old collections inherited from relatives. The key is knowing what to look for and being diligent in your search. That's why the story of the 1993 penny is so important. It reminds us that extraordinary value can be hiding in plain sight. It's not just about having an old coin, it's about understanding what makes a coin rare, studying the minting process, learning to identify key errors, and paying close attention to the tiny details that others might miss. So, what can you do if you think you might have a valuable 1993 penny? The first step is to examine the coin closely. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to look for signs of doubling, strange coloration, odd weight, or anomalies in the mint mark. Weigh the coin using a precise scale. Standard copper-plated zinc penny should weigh 2.5 grams, so any significant deviation could be a sign that something's off. Compare your coin to images of known errors and varieties online. If you believe your coin has unusual features, consider submitting it to a professional grading and authentication service. While there's a fee involved, the potential payoff could be massive if your coin turns out to be one of the rare, high-value error cents. Today's story revolves around a tiny yet mighty piece of metal that most of us might have walked past or dropped in a jar without a second thought, the 1995 Liberty 1-cent coin from the United States. But don't let its humble face value fool you. Some variations of this penny have stunned collectors and experts by reaching jaw-dropping figures, including an example that reportedly sold for a whopping $112,000. That's right, over $100,000 for a coin originally worth just a single cent. So how can this happen? How does a penny, something we find in couch cushions or under car seats, end up being so valuable? To understand this, we have to dive deep into the world of coin minting, error coins, rare variations, and the passionate community that tracks down these tiny treasures. The 1995 Liberty 1-cent coin isn't just any penny. It's a coin born in a decade of high production numbers, slight inconsistencies, and, as we'll see, some rare but incredible minting mistakes. These aren't just simple scratches or damage from circulation, these are actual production flaws that happened at the US Mint, some of which were so subtle that they were missed during quality control, and others that might have slipped past simply because of the enormous volume of coins produced during that time. First, let's look at the backdrop. The year 1995 was a relatively ordinary one for the US Mint in terms of production. Millions upon millions of Lincoln cents were produced, many from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with no particularly special events that would mark this year as historically unique. At first glance, the 1995 penny looks just like every other penny minted in the latter half of the 20th century. On the obverse, it bears the image of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that had been in use since 1909. Below Lincoln's portrait sits the word Liberty to his left, the date, 1995, to his right, and above him, the national motto, "In God We Trust." The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design first introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It also bears the words, United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 cent. So what makes this ordinary-looking coin potentially worth thousands? It all begins with a type of mint error known as a double die. Specifically, the 1995 double die obverse, a striking variation that occurs when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned during its creation. When a die shifts slightly between impressions during the engraving process, it creates a duplication of certain design elements. In the case of the 1995 penny, this doubling is most notably seen in the words, Liberty and, In God We Trust. To the naked eye, especially under magnification, the letters appear to have a shadowed effect, a clear doubling that sets this coin apart from the rest of the batch. This doubling is not a result of wear or damage but a true error made during the die creation process, making it a legitimate variety in the eyes of numismatists, or coin experts. The double die on the 1995 penny is one of the most recognized and sought-after errors in modern U.S. coinage. While many error coins are valuable because they are rare, the 1995 double die penny is also relatively accessible. Tens of thousands are believed to exist. Yet, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is significantly more difficult. Most were released into general circulation before collectors became aware of the anomaly, and by the time word spread, the majority had already experienced wear and tear. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Even among double die pennies from 1995, not all are created equal. Coins that have been graded by professional services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, and have received high grades such as MS-67 or higher, with MS standing for Mint State, can fetch exceptionally high prices at auctions. The $112,000 figure, while rare, has been tied to a near-perfect specimen with sharply struck doubling, minimal contact marks, and perfect luster, making it a once-in-a-lifetime discovery for a lucky collector or dealer. But the double die isn't the only thing that can skyrocket a 1995 penny's value. Other potential minting errors and anomalies can add to the allure. These include off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned in the press, leading to part of the design being cut off or missing altogether. Off-center coins, especially those where at least 50% of the design remains visible, are highly prized. Then there are broad strikes, which happen when the collar that forms the coin's rim malfunctions, creating a wider than normal penny with a soft edge. Clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's metal is missing due to a miscut during blanking, can also fetch significant amounts if the error is dramatic and the coin is in good condition. Let's not forget repunched mint marks, or RPMs. This happens when the mint mark, the tiny letter that tells us where the coin was made, is punched more than once in different positions. For 1995 pennies, you'll usually find a D for Denver or no mint mark at all, indicating Philadelphia. A clear, visible RPM, particularly one with strong doubling or an unusual location, adds a layer of rarity that collectors love. Even though mint marks were being machine-applied during this era, mistakes still occurred due to mechanical issues or human oversight. Another possibility is transitional errors. Sometimes, during a changeover in design or metal composition, a few coins are mistakenly struck using the wrong planchet. Though no widespread reports of a transitional error exist for the 1995 penny, numismatics always keeps the door open for the unknown. All it takes is one coin with the wrong metal composition, perhaps a copper planchet mistakenly used in place of a copper-plated zinc one, and the value can skyrocket. For reference, 1982 was a year of major transition, where both copper and zinc cents were made, leading to confusion and rare misstrikes. While it's unlikely, a 1995 transitional error, if ever discovered, would create enormous buzz in the coin world. Now let's zoom in on the human element. Many of the most valuable 1995 pennies were discovered by ordinary people, not professional dealers or museum curators. Hobbyists, coin roll hunters, and even kids checking their allowance have stumbled upon these rare treasures. It's this sense of possibility, the idea that a life-changing coin might be hiding in your pocket change, that fuels the excitement. Imagine picking up a handful of pennies, squinting at the dates, and realizing you're holding something that could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house. That's the magic of error coins, and the 1995 Liberty 1 cent is one of the most iconic examples of modern numismatic excitement. The doubling on this coin is often visible to the naked eye, but a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe certainly helps. For those seriously interested in searching for one, knowing what to look for is key. On a genuine double-die 1995 penny, the letters in Liberty will appear as if there's a slight shadow or second image behind each character. The same goes for In God We Trust, with doubling typically strongest on the T and R. The date may not be doubled, which often confuses new collectors who assume all parts must show the effect. Remember, it's the obverse design that matters, not necessarily every letter or number will be affected. So why does a small doubling error add so much value? It's not just about rarity, it's about the story, the uniqueness, and the demand. Coin collecting is driven by passion, history, and the thrill of the hunt. A double die is a dramatic visual reminder of how something as precise and industrial as a government mint can still be subject to flaws. It's these imperfections, ironically, that make the coin perfect in the eyes of collectors. And with a known history of high-grade examples fetching enormous sums at auction, the market continues to watch closely for the next record-breaking sale. There's also the speculative side. Some collectors purchase known error coins not just because they love the hobby, but because they see it as an investment. The value of rare coins can appreciate over time, particularly when they're well preserved and verified by reputable grading services. A certified MS-67 1995 double-die penny might cost a pretty penny now, but in 5 or 10 years, who knows how much more it might be worth. The fascination doesn't end with domestic collectors. International buyers are increasingly entering the scene, especially as online platforms make it easier to buy and sell coins across borders. What was once a regional curiosity is now a global phenomenon, and coins like the 1995 double-die penny have become symbols of a growing, interconnected community of numismatics.